My name is Ashley Brennan, and I've always been good with money. Not in the flashy way, I don't make millions or drive luxury cars. But I'm careful. Deliberate. I save, invest, and plan. By 32, I'd built a comfortable life, a paid-off condo, a healthy retirement account, and enough in savings to weather any storm. Which is why, 2 years ago, when my sister Kennedy's fiancé Marcus came to me asking for help, I'd been in a position to say yes. "Ashley, I have this incredible opportunity," Marcus had said over coffee, his enthusiasm infectious. "A chance to start my own digital marketing agency. I have the clients lined up, the business plan ready, everything. I just need capital. $85,000 to cover equipment, software licenses, first year of office rent, and operating costs. Why not get a business loan?" I'd asked. I tried. My credit isn't great, some medical bills from a few years ago tanked my score. Banks won't touch me. But I swear, Ash, this is going to work. I'll pay you back with interest. Better than interest, I'll give you 8% annual return. Way more than you'd get in savings. I'd looked at Kennedy, my baby sister, her eyes pleading. "Ashley, please. This is Marcus's dream. This could change our whole future." I'd asked for time to think about it. Done my due diligence. Reviewed his business plan. Checked his credentials. Everything looked solid. So I'd said yes. I'd drawn up a contract, proper legal documents with payment schedules, interest rates, and a balloon payment clause. If Marcus couldn't make the monthly payments, the full loan became due immediately. Standard protection. Marcus had signed without hesitation. Kennedy had hugged me, tears in her eyes. "You're the best sister ever. Thank you for believing in us." That was 2 years ago. For the first 18 months, Marcus made every payment on time. His business, Apex Digital Marketing, was growing. He was getting clients. Things seemed good. Then the payments started coming late. First by a few days, then a week, then 2 weeks. 6 months ago, they stopped altogether. I tried to talk to him about it. "Marcus, we need to discuss the loan. You've missed 3 payments." I know. Business is just slow right now. Cash flow issues. "I'll catch up, I promise. The contract states that if you miss more than 3 consecutive payments, I can call the full loan due." "You wouldn't do that to me." To Kennedy. He'd smiled, that charming smile that had won over my sister. "We're family." I'd let it slide. Given him more time. Because he was right, we were family. Or so I thought. The wedding was at the Ashford estate, a historic mansion-turned-venue that cost more than my first car. Kennedy had spared no expense: ice sculptures, a 12-piece band, flowers flown in from Ecuador, a dress that cost as much as a small vehicle. "It's my dream wedding," she'd gushed when showing me the plans. "I want everything perfect." "How are you paying for all this?" I'd asked carefully. "Marcus's business is doing amazing now. We can afford it." But he couldn't afford to pay back my loan. That detail went unmentioned. I was a bridesmaid, of course. Kennedy had 5, her college roommate, 2 work friends, our cousin Jenna, and me. I'd paid $300 for the sage green dress, another $150 for the shoes, $80 for the hair and makeup appointment she'd mandated we all attend. I'd also helped set up the bridal shower, contributed to the bachelorette party in Miami, and spent countless hours addressing invitations, assembling favors, and running last-minute errands. Because that's what sisters do. The ceremony was beautiful. Kennedy looked radiant in her gown, her blonde hair styled in Hollywood waves, her smile brilliant as she walked down the aisle to marry the man who owed me $85,000 and hadn't made a payment in 6 months. I'd pushed that thought away. This was her day. My grievances could wait. The reception was even more elaborate than the ceremony. The Ashford Estates ballroom glittered with thousands of tiny lights. Each table had towering floral centerpieces. The food was a 5-course seated dinner with wine pairings. I sat at the head table as a bridesmaid, 3 seats down from Kennedy. Between us were her college roommate and work friends, women she'd known for a few years. I'd known her for 28 years, since the day she was born. But I was seat number 4. The first few hours passed normally. Cocktail hour, dinner, toasts from the best man and maid of honor. I smiled through it all, played my part, pretended I wasn't calculating the growing debt in my head. Then came Kennedy's toast. She stood at the head table, champagne glass in hand, her face flushed with happiness and alcohol. Marcus stood beside her, one arm around her waist. "I want to thank everyone for being here," Kennedy began, her voice carrying across the room. "Today has been absolutely perfect. But I need to talk about family for a minute." Oh good, I thought. Maybe she'd thank me for all the help. For the money that made Marcus's business, and by extension, this wedding, possible. "Family is everything to me," Kennedy continued. "And I'm so lucky to have the family I do. My dad, who's always been there for me." She gestured to our father, sitting at a table near the front. "Marcus's parents, who've welcomed me with open arms. My bridesmaids, who are like sisters to me. Like sisters. Not actual sisters. Like." Something cold started forming in my stomach. "And then there's Ashley," Kennedy said, and every head in the room turned toward me. I forced a smile, expecting a thank you. An acknowledgement. "Ashley is technically my half-sister," Kennedy said, and I felt the floor drop out from under me. "We have the same dad but different moms. And I love her, I do. But I think it's important to be honest about family." No, she wasn't doing this. Real family, blood family from the same parents, that's different. That's core family. Ashley's great, but she's not really family, you know? She's adjacent. She's connected to us, but she's separate." The room had gone completely silent. 200 guests staring at me while my sister publicly declared I wasn't real family. "I just want everyone to know," Kennedy continued, oblivious to the horror on people's faces, "that Marcus and I consider our real family to be the people who share our full bloodline. That's what matters. That's what we're building our future around." She raised her glass. "To real family." About half the room awkwardly raised their glasses. The other half looked uncomfortable. I sat frozen, my champagne glass untouched, my face burning with humiliation. Marcus leaned into the microphone. "Yeah, Kennedy's right. No offense, Ashley, but it's different. You're like, adjacent family. Not core. And that's okay. Different doesn't mean bad." He actually winked at me. I couldn't move. Couldn't speak. Couldn't process what had just happened. My sister, my baby sister, whom I'd held when she was hours old, whom I'd protected from bullies in middle school, whom I'd helped move into her first apartment, had just told 200 people I wasn't real family. At her wedding. That I'd helped pay for. With money from the loan her husband owed me. Something inside me crystallized. Hardened. Became diamond sharp and cold. I pulled out my phone. "Ashley?" Kennedy called from the microphone. "Where are you going?" I didn't answer. I was opening my banking app, pulling up the loan documents I kept in my secure files. Then I stood up. Every eye in the room fixed on me. "Marcus," I said, my voice carrying in the dead silence. "Do you remember the loan agreement you signed 2 years ago?" His face, flushed with champagne and happiness, went pale. "Ashley, not now," he started. "The $85,000 loan," I continued, walking toward the head table, my phone held up like evidence. "To start Apex Digital Marketing. With the terms stating that if you missed more than 3 consecutive monthly payments, I could call the full loan due immediately." Kennedy's eyes went wide. "Ashley, what are you doing? You've missed 6 payments, Marcus." 6. That's $3,600 in missed payments, plus the remaining $78,200 in principal, plus accrued interest. We can talk about this Monday. No, I said, and my voice was ice. We'll talk about it now. In front of all the real family. Since I'm just adjacent family, I assume my money is also just adjacent money, right? Not real investment, just connected money. Ashley, you're embarrassing yourself, Kennedy hissed. I'm embarrassing myself? I turned to her. You just told 200 people I'm not your real sister. At your wedding. That I helped plan. After walking around in a $300 dress I bought because you demanded all bridesmaids match. While your husband stands up there wearing success funded by my money that he hasn't repaid. Marcus stepped forward. Look, business has been tough. Has it? I pulled up another app on my phone. Because according to your company's Instagram, you just signed 3 major clients. And your LinkedIn shows you hired 2 new employees last month. And Kennedy told me last week that this wedding cost $150,000. So clearly, money isn't that tight. The room was riveted. This was better than any reception entertainment. Kennedy's face was red. Ashley, stop it. You're ruining my wedding. I'm ruining your wedding? My voice rose despite my attempt to stay calm. You just publicly disowned me as your real sister. You declared I'm not core family. And you did it while standing next to a man who owes me $85,000 that he's been dodging for months. And even if you win, collecting on a judgment against someone who's cash poor is difficult. You might not see that money for a long time, if ever. I know. So this is about principle. This is about dignity, I said. I'm done being treated like a bank that comes with no expectations of respect. He was quiet for a moment. Okay. Then here's what happens next. If he doesn't pay by Monday at 5 p.m., I'll file the lawsuit Tuesday morning. We'll ask for the full amount plus legal fees. Given the contract is solid, we'll likely win, but timeline for collection is uncertain. File it. You're sure? I thought about Kennedy's face at that microphone. She's not really family, you know? I'm sure. After I hung up with David, I finally listened to my voicemails. Dad's was first. Ashley, Kennedy called me sobbing. She says you're demanding $85,000 by Monday or you're suing Marcus. Please tell me that's not true. Please call me so we can talk about this rationally. Kennedy's was second. Ashley, I'm begging you. I know I messed up. I said something stupid when I was drunk. But please don't destroy Marcus's business over this. He's my husband. We just got married. I love him. Don't you love me enough to forgive this? Marcus's was third. Look, Ashley, I get it. You're mad. Kennedy said something dumb. But taking down my entire company over a wedding speech? That's psychotic. Call me. We'll work out a payment plan. I deleted all of them. Then I turned off my phone and went to bed. My sister just told me I'm not her real sister. I stood up, pacing. My entire life, I've been there for Kennedy. When Mom died and you remarried, I helped raise her. I was 13 years old and I became a second mother to a toddler because you were drowning in grief. I changed her diapers, Dad. I made her bottles. I walked her to her first day of kindergarten because you were too sad to get out of bed. His face crumpled. Ashley. And I never complained. I loved her. I thought we were close. But apparently, this whole time, she's seen me as less than. As separate. As someone from your first family who doesn't really count. She was drunk. Drunk words are sober thoughts. She meant it. Maybe she regrets saying it out loud, but she meant it. Dad was quiet for a long time. Then, what do you want me to say? I want you to admit that what she did was wrong. Not just poorly timed or badly worded. Wrong. Cruel. Unforgivable. I can't say it's unforgivable when you're my daughter too. I have to hope you'll both find a way past this. Then I guess you have your answer about where your loyalty lies. That's not fair. Neither is telling someone they're not real family while owing them $85,000. He stood up. I'll talk to Marcus. See if we can come up with some of the money by Monday. We? I asked sharply. Are you planning to give him money to pay me back? He didn't answer. Dad. Are you seriously going to give my sister's husband money to pay back the loan he owes me? If it keeps this family together. Stop. I held up a hand. If you give him money, I'll refuse to accept payment from you. The debt is his. Not yours. If you bail him out, you're just enabling him to keep using people. Ashley. I mean it. He signed a contract. He needs to face the consequences. Dad left looking older than when he'd arrived. At 4:52, David called. He's countering. Says he can do $50,000 in 90 days, not the full amount. Wants the rest over 6 months after that. No. Full amount or lawsuit. Ashley, this is actually a reasonable. I gave him 2 years to pay me $2,300 a month. He paid for 18 months, then stopped. I gave him grace for 6 months. I've been more than reasonable. He can find the full amount in 90 days or face a judge. Those are his options. David sighed. I'll tell him. At 5:03 p.m., 3 minutes after my deadline, Marcus sent one more email. You win. I'll have the full amount in 90 days. I'll need to sell equipment and dissolve some of the business, but I'll do it. I hope you're happy. You're destroying Kennedy's marriage and my livelihood over your pride. Marcus. I wrote back. Marcus. I'm not destroying anything. You borrowed money with specific terms. You violated those terms. I'm enforcing consequences. If your business can't survive repaying a legitimate debt, that's not my problem. It's a poorly run business that was built on money you never planned to return. You have 90 days. Ashley. I closed my laptop and went home. The next 3 weeks were hell. Kennedy didn't speak to me. Neither did Dad. Extended family members I barely knew sent me Facebook messages calling me heartless. But I also got some surprising support. Cousin Jenna called. I've been thinking about what happened at the wedding. And I realized, Kennedy's always done this. She's always treated you like the help. I just never saw it clearly before. Really? Yeah. Every family gathering, you're the one who brings food, who helps clean up, who does the work. Kennedy shows up and expects to be celebrated. And we all just let it happen. I thought I was imagining it. You weren't. And what she said at the wedding, that was unforgivable. I'm sorry I didn't say something that night. That conversation meant more to me than she knew. My boss at work, who'd somehow heard about the situation through the office gossip chain, pulled me aside. Ashley, I want you to know, setting financial boundaries is smart business. You did the right thing. Even my mailman, who'd apparently noticed me looking stressed, said, whatever you're going through, you look like someone who's fighting for themselves. Good for you. It was strange how validation came from unexpected places. Meanwhile, Marcus was scrambling. Through mutual acquaintances, I heard he was selling assets, cutting staff, trying desperately to come up with the money. Good. He should have thought about that before. At the 45-day mark, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize, Heather Whitfield. Marcus's mother. Dear Ashley. I'm writing to ask you to reconsider your demand for immediate repayment of Marcus's loan. Marcus and Kennedy are young and made mistakes. But destroying Marcus's business will hurt them both for years to come. Is your pride really worth that? Please consider extending the timeline or accepting a settlement. As a Christian woman, I'm sure you can find it in your heart to show mercy. Heather Whitfield. The audacity was breathtaking. I wrote back. Mrs. Whitfield. I gave Marcus 2 years and $85,000 when banks wouldn't. I gave him 18 months of on-time payments followed by 6 months of grace when he stopped paying. I've shown considerable mercy. Your son used me financially while his wife publicly declared I'm not real family. If Christianity is your concern, perhaps consider the commandment about repaying debts and honoring agreements. The payment timeline stands. Ashley Brennan. At the 60-day mark, Kennedy finally called. Ashley, Marcus is going to make the payment. He's selling half his business to a partner. He'll have the money. Good. But our marriage is falling apart. He's stressed, I'm stressed, we're fighting constantly. Are you happy now? I'm not happy or unhappy about your marriage. That's between you and Marcus. You're destroying us. No, Kennedy. The consequences of your choices are affecting you. There's a difference. I said I was sorry. You apologized for getting caught, not for what you actually did. You're sorry I reacted, not sorry for what you said. That's not true. Tell me what you said at the wedding. Word for word. Tell me what you're actually sorry for. She was quiet. You can't, can you? Because you still think you were right. You still think I'm not real family. You're just sorry I had the power to do something about it. A week later, I agreed to meet Kennedy at a coffee shop. Neutral territory. She was already there when I arrived, sitting in a corner booth, looking smaller somehow. Her wedding glow was gone, replaced with dark circles and tension. Ashley. She stood up when she saw me, awkward and uncertain. Kennedy. We sat across from each other, coffee cups between us like a demilitarized zone. Thank you for coming, she said. Dad asked me to. Right. She looked down at her coffee. I'm in therapy. Did he tell you? He mentioned it. I've been going twice a week. Working through a lot of stuff. She took a shaky breath. My therapist asked me to write down everything I did wrong. The list was 4 pages long. Only 4? I couldn't help the bitter tone. I deserve that. She looked up at me, eyes red. Ashley, I don't know how to say this in a way that doesn't sound like an excuse, so I'm just going to say it plainly. I was jealous of you. Jealous of me? My whole life, you've been this person I could never measure up to. Smart, responsible, successful. Dad always talked about you like you were this perfect daughter. And I was just. Kennedy. The second one. The daughter from the second marriage. I felt like I was constantly competing with a ghost. So you decided to make me less than. To declare me not real family. Yes. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I wanted to take away your status because I felt like I didn't have any. If you weren't real family, then maybe I was more important by default. That's incredibly messed up. I know. My therapist has said that about 20 different ways. She wiped her eyes. But here's the thing I'm learning, my insecurity doesn't excuse what I did. Understanding why I hurt you doesn't make the hurt less real. I sat back, processing. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to know I understand what I did. Not just I said something mean, but the full scope of it. I publicly rejected you as my sister after years of using you as my backup. I let Marcus take advantage of your generosity. I made you feel worthless in a moment when I should have been celebrating you as my family. And the loan? She flinched. Marcus told me what you said in the lawyer's office. About how he never planned to pay you back. He admitted it to me afterward. He thought you'd eventually forgive it because we're family. But I'm not real family. You are. Her voice broke. You're my sister. Full stop. Not half, not adjacent, not conditional. My sister. And I threw that away because I was petty and drunk and stupid. I felt my own tears building. Do you know what it felt like? Standing there in that bridesmaid dress, listening to you tell everyone I didn't count? I can't imagine. But I want to understand. Will you tell me? So I did. I told her about feeling erased. About the years of being the responsible one, the helper, the person who showed up and fixed things while getting no recognition. About paying for Marcus's business because I thought I was investing in my sister's future. About the slow realization that I'd been cast as supporting character in a family where I thought I was a lead. She listened without interrupting, tears streaming down her face. When I finished, she said, I can't undo it. I can't take back what I said or make you unhurt. But I can promise you this, I'm different now. Or I'm trying to be. I've cut off friends who talked badly about you. I've told Marcus he has to take responsibility for his own mess. I've been working on not using people. That's good. Is it enough? I thought about that. I don't know. You can't just apologize your way out of something this big. I know. So I'm asking what you need from me. To even consider rebuilding. Time, I said. And consistency. I need to see that this change is real, not just something you're performing to get back in my good graces. How much time? However long it takes. Could be 6 months. Could be years. Could be never. She nodded, accepting. Can I ask you something? What? Do you regret calling in the loan? I considered lying. But what was the point? No. It was the right thing to do. Marcus needed to face consequences. And I needed to stop letting people use me. Even if it meant losing me. Kennedy, I lost you the moment you said I wasn't real family. Getting my money back was just me recognizing what had already happened. She absorbed that, then nodded. Fair. We sat in silence for a while, sipping cooling coffee. Finally, Kennedy said, I know I don't deserve a second chance. But if you're ever willing to try, even just coffee like this every few months, I'll be here. I'll think about it. That's more than I deserve. She stood to leave, then paused. Ashley? For what it's worth. You're the strongest person I know. And I'm sorry it took me this long to see that. I watched her walk away, and I felt something shift. Not forgiveness, not yet. But maybe the possibility of it, somewhere down the line. 3 years after the wedding, I stood in my own wedding venue, a small garden ceremony with 40 guests, wearing a simple ivory dress and the biggest smile of my life. Kennedy was there. Not as a bridesmaid, we weren't there yet, but as a guest. She'd asked if she could come, and I'd said yes. Dad walked me down the aisle toward James, the man I'd met at a charity fundraiser and fallen completely in love with. James knew the whole story, the loan, the wedding disaster, the family estrangement and slow rebuilding. He'd supported me through all of it. You know what I love about you, he'd said once. You have boundaries. You know your worth. You don't let people treat you badly just because they're family. Is that weird? It's healthy. And rare. And sexy. I'd laughed. But he was right. After the ceremony, during the reception, Kennedy approached me. You look beautiful, she said. Thanks. I'm really happy for you. James is great. He is. She hesitated, then said, I know I wasn't a bridesmaid. I understand why. But I want you to know, it means everything that you invited me at all. That you're giving me a chance to be part of your life, even in this small way. Kennedy. Let me finish. 3 years ago, I declared you weren't real family. Today, you invited me to watch you marry the love of your life. That's grace I don't deserve. But I'm grateful for it. And I'll spend the rest of my life trying to earn back your trust. I looked at my sister, older, wiser, humbler, and felt something finally heal completely. You're doing a good job, I said. Keep going. She smiled through tears. I will. I promise. Later that night, dancing with my new husband under string lights that reminded me painfully of that other wedding 3 years ago. James whispered, "You okay?" "Yeah." "Why?" "You got quiet." "Thought maybe you were thinking about Kennedy's wedding." "I was. But not in a bad way. More like, noticing how different this feels." "How so?" "That night, I was surrounded by people who didn't value me. Tonight, I'm surrounded by people who chose to be here because they love me. The difference is everything." He pulled me closer. "You know what the best part is?" "What?" "You chose yourself first. Built a life you loved. And then let the right people in. That's the correct order." He was right. 3 years ago, I'd stood at my sister's wedding and heard I wasn't real family. Today, I stood at my own wedding surrounded by real family, some biological, some chosen, all genuine. I'd lost $85,000 and gained it back. I'd lost a sister and slowly, carefully rebuilt a new relationship with her. But most importantly, I'd found myself. The version of me that knew her worth. That set boundaries and kept them. That refused to be used or diminished or made small. That version was worth more than any amount of money, any relationship, any approval. My name is Ashley Brennan. 3 years ago, my sister said I wasn't family at her wedding. So I withdrew the $85,000 loan I'd given her fiancé. And I'd do it again. Every single time. Because I finally understood, the people who truly love you don't make you prove your worth. They already see it.